So I've been going through a lot of personal transformation this quarter, and I really feel like I'm getting what an adjustment is, more and more. What it is to be able to adjust someone. And what I want to explore here today is more fully the concept of an adjustment. To me, the adjustment is a spiritual act. How many people here see their path as a spiritual one? Just curious. Cool. And I think in this school you get a lot of tools. I recently did a board review with a guy who was doing post-injury cases, sprain and strain, and I thought he was really cool. And I'm happy that people are getting physical therapy. But the people who founded and developed our profession were spiritual people, and they came up with the concept of an adjustment, and it is a real thing that happens. And you can choose to have a greater understanding of how to adjust someone, or you cannot. And I also want to say that there's an evolution of chiropractic and of this spiritual act of adjusting people. And so it's important not to get too hung up on a small or old definition of what a subluxation is or what an adjustment is, because these are very general concepts. And for example, the founders of our Constitution left it broad so that we can interpret it as times change. We're not in the 50s, we're not in the 1900s, we're here and now, and we still have the ability to adjust people. So let's not confine ourselves by some old definition and say, well, if you're not doing that, then you're not doing chiropractic. Are you spiritually adjusting someone? So I want to talk about my own experiences with the adjustment and with how the healing process occurs. And you guys can choose to take pieces of that if you want into your own life, or not. And I'm not here to support any technique, I want to say. Whatever technique you want to do is fine. So I recently went to a Vipassana retreat. It's a 10-day meditation in silence. And the reason I mention this is because BJ was very concerned with Eastern philosophies and tried to tie those into chiropractic, and that's why he developed this upper cervical technique. It was an Eastern perspective on mind-body connection and healing. And there's many of these perspectives that he was drawing from. So it's important that we look at other things in history. So with Vipassana meditation, there's something that's very similar to what we hear as the subluxation. You know, more than what a vertebrate is, or more than how we're distorted. They refer to something as the sankhara. And what a sankhara is a distortion at the root level of your mind. And from that perspective, your mind is acting on your body. And there is a technique for clearing the sankhara. And it isn't adjusting a vertebra. It's working with your nervous system, working with your breath and your circulatory system in a vitalistic, dynamic way, and bringing awareness over these pathways to clear out what's really at the root cause of your mind. And once that clears, your physical body shifts as well. And so what I really gather from this is this thing called awareness. It's huge. We can be aware of a sensation in our body, which is creating a mind-body connection. And the reason I think awareness is so huge in healing, and it's something that we really miss, well, I'm not sure exactly why, but I want to talk about innate intelligence. So in chiropractic, we have this concept of innate intelligence. The body is a self-healing organism. But how much are we using that with our awareness to heal? Because if I eat a sandwich, my body is going to break down the sandwich. You know, and that innate intelligence is still there. But what if I was aware of the sensation of chewing the sandwich in my mouth? What if I was aware of it in my stomach and felt the sensation in my body with awareness, making that mind-body connection and feeling things get absorbed? With that awareness, our bodies become more intelligent. Those involuntary functions in our body, we get control over those and master our mind. And once we achieve mastery of our mind, then we're able to heal on a higher level. So there's one sense of just adjusting, cracking something and saying, well, you know, innate intelligence is going to be released. Or what if we bring awareness to the innate intelligence, work the entire nerve pathway, work with our breath and circulatory system, and heal those sankharas, which are hanging out at the root level of our mind, and feel physical shifts in our body, which we can sustain over time. And we can help people with that process through an adjustment. I was out slacklining at Lake Merritt a few months ago, and there was a lady off to the side yelling, ranting and raving, making complete nonsense. You know, people were looking at her like she was a lunatic. But it was very clear to me that she wanted love. She wanted attention. And so I just started smiling at her. And eventually she looked at me and started smiling back at me. And next thing you know, she was giggling and kicking her feet around. And someone said to me, it's like, oh, I don't know what you did to her, but it worked. That smile created a shift in consciousness, a shift in awareness, and in my perspective, an adjustment occurred. Something got adjusted in her being. That's an adjustment. That can be an adjustment. You know, I was going to teach a yoga class. I was applying for a yoga position, and the teacher asked me, do you adjust people in poses? And the first thing I went to is, do I adjust people in the poses? Because she knows like chiropractor, like I walk around and toggle someone. But then I realized, oh, you know, just lift here a little more. Does that feel a little different? Yeah. He can use his awareness in a new way. You know, that can be an adjustment. And what this Eastern perspective really is about is freeing ourselves from suffering. Because what I got from Jeannie, what I got from Gina, is that there are people who are suffering. And the adjustment is helping people become liberated, helping their minds and souls become liberated. The adjustment is helping someone to shift their conscious awareness. It's not just having innate intelligence do something, but helping that person to bring awareness of their innate intelligence. And that awareness can activate the frontal lobe, activate higher levels of their mind, which can allow them to become more intelligent. It shifts the responsibility off innate intelligence doing something else. But the person is responsible for utilizing their innate intelligence more freely and can walk that path to liberation. And you can be there to continually give them care and help them on that path to becoming fully liberated. So, with that in mind, may you all be happy and free of suffering. And may you all be liberated. Thank you.